Welcome back to Videohead Cleaner. My name is Tommy, and this is part 2 of our episode on Him, the recent 2025 psycho-thriller, football-themed gothic horror film. We have more to talk about, and without further ado, here we go.
So he eventually says he's leaving to go watch tape, and he's leaving Cam in the sauna alone to relax.
Yes.
And Cam he just sort of lays down on the bench and closes his eyes.
Yeah, just relaxing, chilling, but lo and behold, emerging from the shadows underneath the bench that he's lying on is chief crazy woman herself,
Marjorie.
Yeah, who spat on his window when he was first entering the compound. Apparently, she has just been hiding under this bench the entire time.
Right, because we saw her looking in the window earlier menacingly, and now this is the culmination of that, where it's terrifying because, once again, Cam is going to be caught unawares potentially by somebody that wishes him harm. And
we see Marjorie like clearly for maybe the first time, and she kind of looks like Elsie.
Yeah,
she's definitely taking her role in this hierarchy, and she is emulating Isaiah's wife. So there's an odd psychosexual component to this fandom that she is embodying too, right? It's hierarchical. It has formal positions. It's a cult. It's a cult, and this really she's wearing it just on her person, right? Mm-hmm. She has 2 henchmen who apparently have also infiltrated this place, and we just see them in a cut to of them just in their underwear,
full white body paint for these boys too.
White body paint.
They're outside the sauna, sort of creeping.
They and just standing there, just motionless. It's a creepy scene for sure.
But Marjorie grabs a sauna rock. She is wanting to bash in Cam's skull here, as a lot of people apparently do, whether on the field or off it.
Poor Cam's head. Yeah. His head's just got a big bullseye on it. So she rears up to strike. Cam opens his eyes,
screams again, "We don't want you!" as she brings the rock down, but Cam dodges at the last second. And then, being a much more large, imposing person than her, after that initial surprise is gone, he does start choking her, and seemingly to death.
It looks like he chokes her to death. We find that hasn't happened, right? Isaiah comes back. He intervenes. He grabs her in a choke, but also
she wakes back up. It does kind of look like she's dead, but at one point she wakes back up, and that's when Isaiah is like grabs her and just like thrusts her against the wall in a way that wetly slams her skull like a squish, like a blood stain sticks back there.
And when he grabs her, she starts making like kissing, lip smacking gestures with her face, right? She's like, it's kind of psychosexual again, right? Like she's enjoying this contact that she's having with Isaiah. Like she's being choked, but it's kind of it's a moment of exultation and sexual arousal. It's definitely an odd moment for her. Isaiah pulls her in for a kind of frantic kiss. And then one arm throws her into the wall at such strength and speed that it leaves a bloody stain where her head impacted. It's kind of a surprising demonstration of strength. He just one arms a full-grown woman into a wall 20 feet away. Not something you expect. Yeah.
I mean, to him or to her, he's her god figure. And I mean, a lot of people want any exposure to their god they can get, but they also, God is powerful and God is vengeful. And so
he even jokes, just about the situation. When you're a god, there is no peace.
Oh my God, I forgot about that line. Yeah, I mean,
kind of glib, but also kind of true. And he demonstrates godlike prowess when throwing her across the room. It hints at something not right or natural.
It's very nonchalant for sure. And I mean, like, the two guys in white are kind of just like cowering, or sort of also, in fear of their god, a fearful and vengeful god at this moment. But I mean, he also he's not fazed by it. Isaiah isn't. And eventually he just tells Cam, like, oh, you can leave. I'll clean up here, even though he just did a violent thing.
He even revels in it. He starts talking about her dedication. She was dedicated. She wanted to win. He admires what she did just because of the dedication. The extremeness of this shows how dedicated she was. Like, she was willing to make sacrifices. She was willing to sacrifice Cameron for Isaiah. And Isaiah perhaps seems to appreciate exactly that gesture, right? He says, he died for us, so I'll play for him, talking about Jesus Christ. But again, heavy religiosity, at least in tone, brought to his engagement with football, but also just this moment too, right? He's reveling in his godhood.
And to her, Cam is a false god, and so she was going to do that.
A false prophet, if nothing else. Yeah, absolutely.
And the raising up of the taking it down. I mean, that can be presumed as like the sacrifice, exactly. The Isaac of it all, or anything here.
Exactly, as like sacrificing Isaac, and rearing up with a rock as a grand like ritual gesture. Yeah, absolutely. So we Cameron has survived this. We cut to Cameron with Elsie. Just in the aftermath of all this, she just laughs it off like, "Oh, this is just a regular Tuesday for us." And a regular person might be really off put by this. A regular person, indeed, which apparently none of them are anymore. Not even Cameron. Cameron maybe is a bit fazed by this. We can maybe imagine not as fazed as he would be 3 days ago. And it's only been 3 days, right? And now he is like her, not a regular person. And she's probably right. He's that far in at this point. Yeah,
I mean, he's just taking his steps in the world, but he absolutely is as a very known national figure, and one with fame, and one about to come into his own, frankly. So
but also he's maybe desensitized to these kinds of things just a bit more now, right? He's already made his first sacrifice of a player, like when he really messed him up with that tackle, and now he almost killed this woman. Isaiah killed her, maybe for him once again. There's been another blood sacrifice. He is not a regular person anymore, right? Like, regular people don't have blood sacrifices made for them, and he's had two, at least at this point, like,
in 3 days or so.
So he's more like Elsie than he was just 3 days ago, for sure. Elsie is with her gal pals, right? And they lure him into, it's kind of like a chamber, right? And they ply him and seduce him. Right, they're having drinks. They're just letting their hair down.
Is this at the end of day 4, though? Because I want to say,
we're almost at day 4. Yeah.
Well, I asked because I think on day 5 is when he like wakes up and sort of has Isaiah sort of threatening her, be like, "What did you do with her?" And so
that's coming up.
Okay, all right. Oh my gosh, see, he's got the recent in this here. See, I have a few things that jumbled up I had to just memory dump this all from after getting home here. But okay, all right, then lead me the way. I have a lot of these things in mostly right order, but let's.
So Cam is with Elsie and Elsie's girls. They clearly having fun. We cut to Cam waking up in his room, kind of hungover. He's not in his bed. He's at the foot of the bed on the floor, like he just passed out there, with Isaiah in the chair next to him, wielding a gun. And that's where Isaiah confronts Cameron, like, "Did you fuck Elsie? Did you sleep with my wife?
What'd you do with her?" Yeah.
And as this progresses, we discover that perhaps Isaiah is upset at the prospect of this, but he kind of expected it. He kind of expected it to happen, right? And he chides Cameron that you can't care about your girlfriend's feelings, right? I very much thought you fucked my wife, right? Because hey, you can't care about your girlfriend's feelings when you do this, right? You got to make sacrifices. This is all about sacrifices, right? So he's like confronting Cameron, but because he was expecting Cameron to fuck his wife.
Right. He gets razzed for having like a high school girlfriend or sweetheart too in this, I believe. Being told he shouldn't care about his girlfriend's feelings if he's a true killer, which is a alarming, like noun to use when someone has a gun in your room with you. Like, oh God, are you a true killer? Like,
yeah. So it's, again, more of the initiation of Cameron. We get a moment where Isaiah perhaps genuinely feels threatened by Cameron, right? He showed up confronting him with a gun, right, for maybe having slept with his wife, right? So it's a moment of equalizing a bit, right? Isaiah has had such swagger this entire time, but now he's crumpled up on the chair with a gun, right? This is not a power position, right? It's desperation, really. The first time, as far as I remember, right, that's like a real tipping point where suddenly Isaiah is like acting threatened.
Right. The full power is not in his hands at that moment.
Yeah. Like he's having to grab the gun because otherwise he can't demonstrate it. So we cut to another title card, day 4, Resilience. So we get cryptic names or titles for these days, poise, leadership, resilience. And we're going to discover what that means.
So this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is no football today because they're going out and shooting instead. Is this correct?
Yeah. So Isaiah and Cameron, Isaiah's taking them out again into the hinterlands of the scrubland that surrounds the compound. They got rifles. They're going shooting. And we see what looks like a target, like kind of like a stuffed humanoid figure in the distance.
There's football helmets like on a stick of opposing teams. There's like a taxidermied animal, an antelope, I believe, on there. There's jerseys and helmets of the teams, and he's got a giant scoped rifle here, like just a massive gun that he's just shooting these with.
Cameron asks what happened to that lady who attacked me, and Isaiah just kind of lightly responds, "What lady?"
She gets dragged out, but that definitely happens. So he gives the gun to Cam at some point, and Dr. Jim, or Dr. Jim Jeffrey is playing Marco here, brings over what looks like perhaps a dummy with like a giant mascot sort of helmet and like outfit on. Or so it seems. It seems like just, a nothing, a dummy.
A target.
We see it
target.
Breathing briefly, though, is what really starts to throw things.
And at that moment, Isaiah responds, "Oh, that lady."
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can infer that this is Marjorie inside the target.
Certainly, because he's like, "Oh, you can leave Cam from the sauna. I'm going to clean this up." And then we probably presume now she was held until this moment and then brought out. It's what a callous thing, because when Cam's like, what an innocent little Cam thing. I'm still pretty shaken from that thing last night. Like, I mean, that woman, that was pretty crazy. And then we get Isaiah, and like, this is a normal for me thing. Be like, what woman? Oh my God, no, I totally forgot about that. Like, I squished a woman's skull against my sauna wall or something last night.
And while they're doing this, Isaiah comes at Cameron with another another this or that kind of question, right? Isaiah tells him, I'll make you a deal, right? You hit that target, I will give you anything that you want. Anything you wish for, I will give it to you. But if you miss, I'm going to take your youth. It's kind of funny. It's kind of glib. It does sound like a devil's bargain, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Isn't this exactly the kind of deal that the devil would show up and make for, right?
Because he couches it. He's like a house, a car, women, the lifestyle of your dreams, etc. So it absolutely sounds like a devil's bargain in that regard.
Yeah.
But there's no fiddling involved here.
No, exactly.
And Cam kind of, I don't even think he really thinks about it for too long.
He brushes it off.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'd rather earn the things that I have.
And he comes back and says, he earns everything he has and he doesn't want it given to him.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting response to that.
It's a good take that kind of answer.
And
sure.
I mean, if you again go biblical, Jesus being tempted by Satan in the desert, which they're in a desert here.
Exactly.
Every time Jesus was like, nah, I'm going to just do this on my own or whatever. So it's
Exactly. We get the biblical resonance of the moment. Cam comes back at Isaiah with a similar kind of this or that question. The first one that he ever has, right? Isaiah has presented him with a number of these like dilemmas, right? Do you choose to never be injured or to never tire, right? And this one, I'll give you anything you wish for, but if you miss, I'm going to take your youth. And Cameron comes back at him, you know what, I'm going to make you a deal. And there is no, if I hit the target, this is what I get. He just says, if I miss the target, maybe I'll let you remain as quarterback.
Be QB1.
Maybe. He, of course, fires and doesn't miss. Hits Marjorie as the target, dead on. So it's a mic drop kind of badass moment from Cameron. Again, we get more of the tables are being turned, right?
Oh, because Isaiah Stone faces it. Yeah, Isaiah's in control of the situation, being jovial. He's the one proposing bets.
Yeah.
But immediately as soon as Cam says that, he's soured. He's not happy with that situation.
Yeah, the tables are turning, and we cut to kind of a montage of Cameron going on the celebrity circuit. Right, we at first see him taking a bath, but it looks like he's taking a bath in some kind of goop or slime or something.
Is this the isolation pod thing?
It's just a kind of a brief moment. It's like the same bathtub that he was taking an ice bath in, but this time we see it like it's like the camera is submerged with him, and it's like it's under him, and like he's like lying face down, right, and he's submerged in some kind of goop, just like a goop. And to me, this seemed like a figurative moment. Like this is where he's really being submerged in it. He's now fully in the goop. The whatever the slime is that he's in, he's fully submerged in it, and he's internalizing it at this point, right? And then we see him on the celebrity circuit kind of demonstrating that he's started to internalize all this, right? He's really kind of getting it at this point, right? He's showing that he's more comfortable with the celebrity of it all now. He kind of has an easeful grace about him as he's moving through these, like being photographed,
interviews, lots of this going on,
right? And all this, and he's like nailing the photo session. There's a moment where he's having a very touching moment in an interview, talking about how he feels like he let his father down, and he's just repeating these lines of like, I let him down, and just getting more and more emotional. And he's kind of reduced to a child, right? And like how he speaks and how emotional he's getting and how he's just repeating the same things over and over again. But it's clear that he just nailed that interview, right?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
How people are responding to it is like, oh man, he's really got it. He has both the celebrity it factor in addition to the athletic one, right? And he's really showing that he's becoming the GOAT, right? He's starting to become the figure that he would be if he replaced Isaiah White. Just graceful in the celebrity, but also just assertive. Like he's confident now.
For sure. And I mean, we get a little nugget in there when he's talking about, like, he's crying that he let his father down because he said his father said he was proud of him, right as Cam said he wanted to quit football. And then he cries some more as he recounts that his father died a few months later. And so he did kind of like, this is the man that pushed him to do this. It was indoctrinating him that was doing all of this. And so, again, he's doing this for himself, of course, but he's doing this for somebody else. And I mean, it's a very touching scene. And is this the one where it sort of zooms out, and then he's flanked by reporters on each side, recreating another giant religious sort of scene in the Last Supper bit?
Yeah, there's like a brief moment where you see them, the way that they're arranged.
Yeah. This is like a big media day, and that's another. Again, they kind of beat you over the head with religion to a degree. There's a lot of stuff that's a little less accessible. You need to know perhaps a bit, but some of it's just right there for you. And the Last Supper bit is just there.
I
heard somebody in the audience probably be like, "Oh, that was the Last Supper." It's like, oh, you got it, buddy.
Yeah, bingo. In the midst of this montage, we have Isaiah giving a monologue, talking about. In ancient times, how an initiate would consume the blood of a king to take on that role. It's the first time we've really had introduced the idea of consuming blood. Like, it's been blood sacrifice up to this point, but the idea of ritually consuming blood to gain power. This is where it's just really being introduced just very overtly, right? And over the course of this monologue, and at the end of it, Isaiah's declaration about what all this means is that the dilemma is surviving the death of who you used to be, which we see Cameron undergoing, right? We see the old him fading and the new him starting to emerge, ? Right? Again, it's kind of a moment of flux, but we get a hint that what Isaiah is talking about is what Cameron is undergoing, right? It's like he's turning into something else.
And it's pretty on the nose because, I mean, I think he talks, I don't know if it was Kings, he talks about how the great warriors of old used to eat their strongest warrior, thereby passing that blood down to the next generation and empowering them. Yeah. So it's very much that of like, a lineage, a heritage, a strength to strength, a sort of a passing of the old, because I mean, just like we talked about with the old of the football people aging out, it's not a young man's, or it's not an old man's game, it's a young man's, and so war is also not a old man's game in that regard. And not only that, but the transition, it might be violent for everyone involved, right? Oh, yeah.
The initiate might be engaging in ritual cannibalism, and the previous goat might in fact be devoured by their successor. And so it's not just passing a torch. It's you die and your successor consumes your strength. So some stakes. There are some stakes involved.
For sure. I mean, this happens in nature, like lions, old lions. Yeah, they're not really treated great. They're not like, I'm going to keep you around, old lion buddy that was the leader of the pack. Or, I'm going to eat you. Yeah. It's,
Let's see. So we transition to Cameron. He's at a weight bench. He's getting his pump on to keep himself looking prime for photography, right? He's wearing kind of like a tux almost, and he's approached by Elsie, who hints that there is a very important party happening that he will very much want to attend. It's kind of secret. He hasn't really been explicitly invited to it, but Elsie is just letting him know that the owners of the team are going to be there, and all the important people that he needs to impress are going to be there. And maybe he would want to attend. Just maybe. Just very playfully luring Cameron to this meetup.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron takes the bait rather plainly. Just, geez, you should have told me this was important, then I would have gone. Right? It doesn't need a lot of enticing. Right? He's just basically told this is an important moment for your career. You need to go, and he goes. Yeah.
And I mean, they offer Isaiah to go, and he says no. He's going to hang back and watch tape and such.
Yeah. I kind of get the feeling that Isaiah it was a setup. Isaiah and Elsie, they know what's going on. Isaiah knows what's going on.
Exactly.
This is the initiation moment, and Cameron is being lured to it. They arrive at a bar. The sign's kind of flickering. You can't really see it. It says recreation on it, but the C in recreation is capitalized, and it's the only letter that's visible. And so the sign looks like creation, like he is going to the center of creation itself.
Oh, geez.
A dingy bar, but of course the meaning and implication of it is far, far greater for Cameron, for sure. And when he enters, it just looks positively devilish. You see Savior's logo and drapery all over the bar, but the lighting is very red. It's just blood red lighting everywhere.
Is it a bar? Yeah. Because I read it as a high school, because they said he's like, where are we going? He thought it was going to be somewhere fancy, but it definitely wasn't. This is far from fancy, for one thing.
Well, the outside of it is like a total rundown dive, like abandoned dive bar, but inside it seems far more nicely appointed and decorated and
it looked like a high school basketball gym to me or something. And they passed an old woman as a receptionist or something.
I wonder if it was. I mean, maybe it was like an old high school, just to really drive home how they are. They're using his legacy against him in a way, right? I think it's either this moment or earlier where the legacy of his father is used against him to kind of pressure him into continuing. Right? This happens earlier where he's injured, he's getting a haircut, and they're talking about what's at stake, and his manager is the one to remind him, this is what your father worked for and wanted. Right?
Oh yeah,
yeah, and so
sleazebag manager, but
and so maybe it was a converted high school actually. Yeah,
and I read that too as part of that, just because he's why are we even here? Because it's nighttime. He's why would we be at a high school or something? Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, if you're powerful enough, or if you're wanted enough by the media, you got to find a way to be under the radar.
Yeah,
and that's why it was kind of weird and funny to me to see these old, rich, powerful men partying in a high school gym to a degree, and so. It's just
as we'll discover later, it's actually kind of a symbolic bit of foretelling, right? They're reveling in this space that shouldn't be for them, but that they've taken over.
Yeah,
it's very symbolic. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
In a space of youth, no less.
A space of innocence, and one that they've just utterly co-opted, and now it looks devilish red.
And if it is, the gym, that's another athletics arena where the young are and the youth, and these old men are just partying in there where they're not supposed to.
It's an arena of real consequence, as the announcer mentioned at the very beginning of the film, and exactly, and here we are, a very, very real consequences in this arena for sure. But it looks just blood red. He's led to a back table where the owners are seated.
His agent's there hanging out with them.
And
I think he's stopped a little bit by Marco before he reaches that dais or back table, who again gives him a warning. I think he jokingly says run or something.
Well, it's a cryptic reference to in the Bible where Jesus is offered wine by Judas, drinks it, and then says, "It is done." And that is what he does to Cameron. Comes up to him, offers him wine, and then says, "It is done." another cryptic reference about the doctor setting Cameron up for something. This time it's perhaps a little bit more clear that it's betrayal, especially with that reference of all references. But in usual fashion for the doctor, he just kind of very glibly drops it and then moseys on.
And I think he does whisper to Rudd in his ear because, I mean, what we find out happens to Marco pretty quickly is... this is the first time we see the owners and these powerful people and stuff. And Cameron ends up at the back with them, and the agent is schmoozing with them. And they're very older, not quite frail, I suppose.
They're the old powerful men who run the Saviors. And Cameron is seated at their table, is offered wine from them, and drinks it. And it's kind of a surreal, almost delirious scene afterwards where he looks kind of shadow draped and ragged, and he's looking at the owners, and they're kind of glowing. They're framed in a way that makes them not seem as spatial or easily positioned. They're kind of floating there and kind of hyper present to him, right? We're not sure if, like, is the wine drugged, or is it just that the moment is drugged? Probably just the moment is drugged. Right?
I have down, they're drinking big full glasses of red wine, and in parentheses, hopefully wine. And then there's also like an expensive necklace being put on Cam's neck here, and other partying things, just like lots of hot girls around.
It's like he's being anointed.
But yes, it becomes very surreal and like a very drunken situation quite quickly. And this is another, this is a good minute or two where we're like, is what's happening? Essentially.
Yeah, we get a frantic montage of Elsie approaching the doctor and killing him and cutting his head off, and it's like mounting it on a table for Cameron's. For inspection, for like basically like to show him. And in the midst of all this, we get scenes of Cameron puking again, like during the run in with Isaiah in the desert. But this time he's puking gold. He's
the
puking
diamond necklace that
jewels
got put on
and
his
diamonds.
Stuff.
He's puking gemstones. He's puking up riches and treasures. Of almost, again, a biblical quality, right? Gold, jewels,
pearls and stuff.
The classic trappings of demonic treasure, right? Of riches and whatnot. And so, the one person that has been kind of warning in this entire time is murdered, and at the same time he. Like perhaps another sign of his transformation, right? He is drunk from the devil's chalice and has been anointed with jewels and is now so full of all that he's puking it. As almost like ironic punishment in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And I mean, the same guy that said, don't kill yourself for your job, ended up dying for his job. The same guy that seemed to be helping him may have been caught for that or essentially punished in a way, because who knows if this was always going to happen, or if the fact that he did, even in his slightest ways, try to help Cameron get away from this literal den of devils, has been betrayed by it and caught it himself, because he is dancing with the devils quite literally at this party, like many people are.
Exactly.
And it is just, again, the further the movie goes, the more red and crazy and surreal and interesting lighting happens. And this is, as Tommy said, no exception to this.
The more blood-colored things get. Should be noted about this scene. We are apparently in day 5.
I was going to say, are we in day 5 vision now?
Yeah. Audience, let me know if you actually saw this title card. I've seen this film twice now, and I missed this both times. And so if there's a vision title card, it must flash fast, or I blink at the same time in this film every time, because I missed it both times. I just missed it both times.
And this is the day that Cam starts to see
visions.
What's happening? He sees literal visions of what's going on.
Yeah, a vision of what's to come and what he's perhaps enmeshed himself in.
Yeah. He finally sees with his eyes wide open, literal who he's getting into bed with, what his life will look like, all these things, and so.
Or it's like I guess he does. It's still all very hallucinatory and very trippy, right? But it's just perhaps that is the reality of it.
Yeah.
Right, as we're about to discover. We are now, however, in day 6, the final day, sacrifice. Very dramatic title. The other titles have been kind of cryptic to this point. Is this one going to be as cryptic? It seems to be the most on-the-nose title of them yet, but maybe it's not. I don't know. But we're getting into day 6. We find Cameron waking up on top of like a bed of ice. He's not in the tub this time. He's just on a bed of ice, like he's being preserved. It's an odd moment, right? We can assume after that party that he somehow just arrived or is brought here, perhaps just brought here and put on ice. But at this point,
we find a literal disturbing thing happening to him because in his arm he has a blood transfusion going, and this is Isaiah's blood, the same blood we saw potentially from earlier that was being taken out of him.
Was Isaiah gathering that blood just because it was rich in oxygen? I don't know, but it's being administered to Cameron, and at this point, as the audience, we can perhaps understand this now, right? There's been so many references about consuming blood, about the transfer of blood and the power of that, right? And now Isaiah's blood is being put right into Cameron.
And I'm pretty sure it's done. Like it's mostly gone. So it's not like he can stop this. This is just against his will.
It has happened. It has been done to him. And now it's just in him. This is just now who he is. He has this blood in him. Upon realizing this, he's very startled. He tries to get up. He can't. He falls out of bed. His legs really aren't responding, so he's just dragging himself across the floor, and he looks up and he sees on a medical table another one of the doctor's syringes, and we can tell by the emoji on it. We forgot to mention this. There's what would you call this? The I don't know emoji.
The shrug, yeah.
The shrug emoji with you've seen it before.
This is got a smirk, his little arms are up, but this is definitely done in the old keyboard ASCII sort of style.
Yeah, this is old school ASCII emoji writing here.
Back in my day, you didn't have yellow faces. Exactly. You had to make your own dumb faces.
Yeah, you whippersnappers out there.
Out of whatever's on your stupid keyboard.
when emojis were real and they took up a lot of space. Yeah, exactly. We see the doctor's emoji, and on this syringe it is written "run." His most the one time when the doctor is actually direct is unfortunately after he's been murdered. But Cameron takes this warning for what it is. He grabs a syringe, he injects the contents into him, gets one more mystery shot. That gets him on his feet, and he's walking the hallways, and he finds a door with a very, very particular symbol on it. It's the alchemical symbol. It's the triangle that contains a circle that contains a square, right? And this is a classic symbol of alchemy, and it's the order, it's the hierarchy, right? Square is contained by circle, which is contained by triangle, right? A classic ordering of geometric shapes by symbology, right? Square being earth, the circle being the sky, and the triangle being the Trinity, right? The divine, right? And it's etched on this door. So, clearly it it looks ancient, right? And even if you don't understand more details about it, we haven't seen this any other point in the film.
No, this is a room we've not seen yet, and we find this very circular chamber inside with interesting things going on. Right?
It is a circular chamber that he enters, right? And
perhaps a literal arena.
Exactly, right. In the center of this, kind of sunk into it is like a pit or like an alcove in the floor where Isaiah is sleeping, and there's no other moment when he looks more like Dracula than this, right? This is where it's so gothic that it hurts. He's basically in like sleeping in a coffin or sleeping in the earth itself, like sunken into it, like some hoary old figure like Dracula or whatnot. Cameron, there are trophies displayed around this room. The sharp, pointy obelisk trophies that Isaiah has 8 of. Right, one is in this room. Cameron goes for it, grabs it, and wields it like a stake as he rears his arm up like he's about to stake Dracula through the heart. Again, just super gothic, just real gothic. But Isaiah rouses in time, kind of like when Cameron was attacked by Marjorie, right? This time it's Cameron in the role of Marjorie, the superfan attacking his idol. Right.
And speaking of fans, it's interesting because like he's kind of what Isaiah's facing up at. There's like a circle on the ceiling around him, which is like I guess it's not the word panoramic view, but like it's all these fans cheering for him.
Yeah,
he's like basically bathing in the adoration of his fans.
It's kind of like the Sistine Chapel. Like looking up at the ceiling and seeing the panorama, the pantheon of God and the angels and Adam and whatnot. It's like a biblical tableau.
And we've got various like helmet and jersey combos on the wall around, which we'll learn the significance of like very shortly and whatnot. But it is very much just an interesting and
this is the inner chamber of his compound. This is like the heart of his compound, and we see him sunken into the earth in it. Like it's again just like straight up out of Dracula, right? And Cameron, he's wielding this sharp, pointy trophy, and he's going to try to stake him in the heart. Fails. Isaiah sees him, reacts, dodges it, and that begins this epic showdown between the two. Right? Cameron is told that he's been given Isaiah's blood. And this is when Isaiah he reveals the secret this entire time, right? Never really outright says it, but starts talking about the handing off of this sacred blood to him from his mentor to his mentor from the one before, this old chain of transference going back who knows how long, but we can assume to the devil himself by what we hear in the tone of Isaiah's voice. There's a kind of a reverberation to it that hasn't been there before. If you checked out our episode about K-pop demon hunters and saw that, right, then you perhaps saw a little bit of this in Rumi when she gets angry, right? Her voice gets demonic and loud and reverberates, and we get a little bit of that in Isaiah's voice in this moment.
Yeah, he acts great. This is another just bathed in red scene where we're seeing this as, again, quite a literal arena because they do start to fight here shortly. But it is a literal sort of body-snatching situation of older into younger in a way that does kind of call to mind Get Out to me. And this is another Jordan Peele produced film. It wasn't written by him necessarily or directed, but it's in there. I mean, there's other like bits of this, like the My Hero Academia anime, where if you pass on part of your body, be it blood or hair or whatever, then you get the power of the person that came before you. And also they sort of live within you in a way. That one's less sinister to a degree like this, but all the things all of a sudden click into place when it's the cryptic things being said, the blood transfusions, the fact that gosh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, this now dawned on me. It kind of reminds me of Get Out, Jordan Peele's don't know if this is his first film. It's kind of the film that like put him on the map as a filmmaker and writer director. There's a kind of similar theme about someone older putting their essence into someone younger to perhaps carry on their legacy at the expense of this younger other. And we get a little bit of that. Well, a little bit. We got a lot of that in this film, right?
And it could be why he picked it, because he did, I mean, famously, he didn't pick weapons for his production company. He didn't buy the film to produce. He picked this one. And so he may have seen some of that in him or some of his own themes and whatnot.
Yeah,
but we do learn that the jerseys and helmets on the wall all belong to these mentors that presumably passed down their blood and their blood and their blood and such. Yeah. But it becomes a fight here because Cam, when he's told this, is essentially like, I don't want that to happen to me. He does not accept this in a way because he does not want to be subsumed by Isaiah and whatnot.
He perhaps has a certain natural reluctance to having the blood of the devil in his body, Good for him. But as he said before, he wants to earn it, right? He doesn't want it just to be handed to him. So another way, a little Jordan Peele touch. Cameron does clock Isaiah for his weird white people shit. Drinking blood, sleeping in a alcove in the floor and whatnot. So sure, I suppose, Dracula is perhaps, or again, I get real Dracula vibes from all this. Perhaps the original weird white person, who knows?
The very pale person,
exactly.
And I mean, he has very pale, painted in white, cult members and stuff. It's an interesting bit, but they start punching each other, and I mean, this becomes a fight scene to
There have been allusions to two men entering, but only one man emerging.
That's what I started out earlier. Yeah, they constantly are referencing the Coliseum, gladiators, this and that, and now they're in the circular arena with the cheering of fans above them, much like a Coliseum would be and whatnot.
Yeah, like
so they are
an almost divine audience above them.
Yeah,
like watching the spectacle unfold, right? But they are in an arena and they engage in combat. They start going at each other. They're hitting each other, throwing each other around. Isaiah appears to be the stronger combatant in all this.
He gets punched in the face by Cam quite a bit before Isaiah throws him against the wall and gets the upper hand. We see, and he does then pin Cam and break one of his arms quite gruesomely.
But not before Cam. He sees the trophy that he tried to wield, the stake. Isaiah at first, it got knocked out of his hand, and Cameron sees it off a little bit of ways from him. He reaches for it, but that's when Isaiah grabs his arm and breaks it. Cameron he's reaching for Isaiah's glory, right? And Isaiah warned him, don't do what I did. Don't follow my path. Do your own thing and be better. And Cameron, he does not do this. He's reaching for Isaiah's old glory, and he gets punished terribly for it. He fails to defeat Isaiah with Isaiah's trophy. Mm-hmm. It's very symbolic, right? Cameron, he's still latching onto his hero. He's still trying to do what he did, and of course, he's not going to do it as well as Isaiah. You're not going to do it as well as the original, right? He gets symbolically punished with his arm being broken by Isaiah. Cameron kind of limps away from this. Isaiah is strutting and with some swagger a bit. He takes the trophy himself. He's clearly wielding it like he's going to come at Cameron and kill him with it. But Cameron sees something in the distance, right? Or he sees something off to the side here, right? What is that?
Well, and again, you just saw this movie, so perhaps you can do this better than I am, because what I have is Cam does eventually get a football helmet as his weapon thing there.
Yeah, he in great symbolic contrast, right? Isaiah is wielding this signifier of his past glory, whereas Cameron is reaching for pure football, right? This is where Cameron he reaches for Isaiah's old glory, but he can't do Isaiah's old glory better than he can, right? But after this, he figures it out. He's got to be more about pure football than even Isaiah, right? Isaiah is wielding his old glory, but his old glory isn't what he was all about. That isn't what this was all about, right? It was about pure football. That's apparently what Isaiah kept saying that he was about. And in this one moment, he didn't do that, but Cameron did. And he did it better than Isaiah.
And it's an item that protects your head, and Cam's head has been fucked with all movie long.
Exactly. Even more symbolism. He goes for the thing that he will need to protect him, and the thing that is most directly tied to his head, to the situation about his head, to head injury. Yeah, like he's basically leveraging his weakness against Isaiah's weakness, right?
Because he's had his physical head damaged, but also his mental mind damaged and stuff, and like attacked and beset on all sides on this. So it is an interesting note. Frankly, I didn't even think about that until just about this moment. It is very symbolic. The movie does great symbolism in this stuff.
Yeah, but this is definitely a culminating moment. Like Cameron is wielding his symbol, and Isaiah is wielding his symbol. Right? Cameron is all about the game, like fundamental, like really, like actually about football. Whereas Isaiah, as we discovered, it was all about the fame and the glory and all that, right? And this is where that gets summed out, right? Like this is where the equation gets balanced finally.
Football the right way. As people love to say, coaches and whatever.
Cameron shows superior virtue within this framework, this structure that's been developed, right? He shows that he is actually the culmination of it and is triumphant. Like he grabs the helmet, just really clobbers Isaiah right on the head, knocks him to the ground, and is standing above him, triumphant. He's wielding the helmet. His arm is stretched up to the heavens, and it takes on kind of a celestial, heavenly glow to it in this moment where you see Cameron just triumphant and dominating and resplendent with this weapon in his hand.
Especially resplendent. I mean, we didn't mention, I guess, Cameron started this out all in white, and the further this fight goes on, the more covered in blood he is. But white is the color of, the sacrifice, the lamb, the something that's going to be the pure. You need to sacrifice the pure.
That's a really, exactly. Like his clothing attire, the color itself changes, right? Mm-hmm. He goes from white linens, demonstrating his naivety, but also purity, and now he's very much bloodied and maybe sullied a bit, right? But he's bloodied for sure.
And he sure got, Isaiah's blood is on him, not in him, is the thing. In
splattered
this bit,
on him,
They really do kind of almost pull their visual punches here. I don't know if they just didn't want to show Marlon Wayans' face just crushed in or something, considering what they've shown us in the movie.
This is something I'm going to have something to say about when we get to the end of our plot review, but we can kind of talk about it now. This film, it does a lot of neat visual tricks when they're showing head injury and brain injury, like the X-ray moments and whatnot, right? It's a film that it puts this really front and center, and will show graphic injury and show blood. And in this moment, when you're really expecting the film to just really go for it, this is when punches are pulled. And it's just kind of, I don't know, we can really get into this later, but it says something, I think, about the directing of the film where there are a lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah.
A lot of missed opportunities for some really, really powerful imagery or some like really, really gut-wrenching surreality. And the film just doesn't do it. I don't know. We can talk about this later.
Yeah, because we're actually quite close to the end on this, as it were.
But we're very close to the end, right? So Cameron is triumphant over Isaiah. He clobbers him, brings Isaiah to the floor, and then goes in for the kill and just beats him hard with the helmet, and then throws the helmet to the side and goes at him with his
finishes
fists.
him with his bare hands. Yeah, it's a pretty. And again, it is visceral, but they don't really show the victim or the Marlon Wayans thing. And perhaps that's the American in us, where we're like, show it. but again, the film has shown us so much violence to that point.
Yeah,
it's like, why would you, with the main antagonist going down or something? Why pull that punch now?
With so much obsession with head injury and blood and sacrifice, why did they pull their punches at this moment of all moments? We're going to have to come back to this. Anyway, we're almost done with the plot recap.
So it has been pretty dark and dour in a lot of the scenes and stuff, especially the very gothic vibe and whatnot. But when he steps out from a tunnel onto a brightly lit field covered in blood. He's all in white, just now tainted with all this red blood on him.
We're kind of in like Tim Burton gothic, where it's all happy and bright, but it's all fucked up and bloody and crazy and dark, right? That's kind of the space we're in this final scene, right? Cameron emerges from the tunnel, having triumphed over Isaiah. He is flanked by cheerleaders. There's like a marching band behind him, that's encircling him. Right, it's has all the trappings of a football spectacle,
a regular football game, except
we hear a chanting in the background, and it sounds like both the Pledge of Allegiance and the Lord's Prayer. It's kind of hard to discern what they're saying, but it sounds like it has lines from both. Again, just. If you thought that the marriage of fandom and religiosity was just a passing thing, no, they clobber you with it here.
Or too subtle.
Yeah. If it was too subtle for you before, you get one more chance, right? They're really cranking up the creepy factor, but the chant, it's like a religious. It's like they're like reciting like a religious text, but it's Lord's Prayer plus like the Pledge of Allegiance. Kind of creepy. It's a nice effect.
And I mean, there's a giant pentagram on the field. There's a dais with like 5 cloaked, hooded figures going on here, and I believe they're all in red as well. But it's they have this big contract they want Cam to sign, but also there's the costume helmet of the person that Cam shot earlier on the ground, aka Marjorie or the mascot or something. And I don't know if we touched on it. I know at one point Isaiah tells Cam not to be a mascot, like he wants him to be like a football player or like the man, the him or something. Because there is some like mascot bit going on here that frankly I don't know if I got entirely. Going on of it, but But he's told that he basically passed the test. He's going to be the Savior's new quarterback, and that he just needs to sign the contract. But we instead see Cam pick up the hammer spike weapon that we saw pierce his skull in the hallucination, and that was being wielded by his assailant earlier.
Yeah. So it's quite a scene, right? We have near this. It's like a tome. It's a tome that they want him to sign, and that's the contract, right? But it's a big, thick tome. It looks like the devil's book, the devil's book of signatures of all the people that have sold their soul to him, right? I think it's even like a feather quill.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
It's very old and because this is supposed to be just an ancient situation going on, and to tie some of the ancient into the. What's going on. I mentioned earlier that the Saviors, if they won the championship, they don't have the draft capital to get him. The owners talk about how they sent this hooded or this, masked man to bash him to make his draft stock fall so that he could come and be this sacrifice. Yeah, this was planned.
We find that Cameron he's been in this since he was a child. He's been eyeball deep in this long before he even realized it. We discover that not only, this was a conspiracy to lure him to this moment, right? That's what the initial attack on him was about, right? Like you said, right? It was to lower his capital, like the value of him, so that he could be put in this position. But we see next to this tome, it's a picture of him and his father, but also of a third figure, the owner of this team. And we discover that Cameron has been groomed for this since he was a child, right? The owner and his father were kind of conspiring against him in a way, right? I mean, the father perhaps for all the right intentions, but the owner certainly not, right? But Cameron has been in football for most of his life, right? In a way, very exploitative, totally beyond his knowledge or ability to comprehend. And yeah,
it's a literal lamb to slaughter moment, because we also find out the agent has been complicit in this and has also been with the owners and is sort of pushing him towards it, because he's also one of these hooded figures on the dais. Yeah. And they're basically just like, everything in your life has led to this moment, Cameron. Just sign the contract. You did it. You beat Isaiah. Here you go. And so he's faced with a dilemma, but he doesn't want that. He doesn't want it. He says he wants to earn it. He doesn't want to take Isaiah's path, and even Isaiah directly warned him not to do that.
This is where, in all of this being divulged and like revealed to him, he just starts laughing kind of maniacally and hysterically, just with the full realization of this conspiracy against him. He just gotta laugh. He's just gotta laugh at it all, right? It's a kind of crazy maniacal laugh, but it's almost kind of cathartic in a way, right? It's just this situation. Yep, it's this absurd. It is this absurd. Hot damn. God damn it, is this absurd, isn't it? And so he just starts laughing maniacally. But then also he takes up the hammer. The hammer that his assailant wielded in his hallucination when he was in the desert, right? When he was hallucinating, he's being murdered by this person that clubbed him. That hammer is there. It's just there by the devil's tome as kind of like a symbolic ritual implement, just mounted there for presence, right? But it's not just a decoration, right? He takes up. It's kind of like in a slasher film, like the final girl finally takes up the phallus, as in like wields the knife that Jason Voorhees has been chasing her with this entire time, right? He takes up the weapon.
Or is the binary choice, the contract or weapon, essentially? Like, do you want to fight your way out of this or be your own man, or do you want to sign a deal with the devil? Yeah,
is his weapon a quill pen, or is it himself, like basically
the penis mightier,
and his penis mightier for sure. I haven't made a lustful sound in a while.
It's been too long, I suppose. I have a few things in my notes where I'm just like, and Tyriq Withers looks beautiful. Just like, so we've been sparing you most of that, frankly, but
he takes up the hammer and he just goes on a rampage. He just starts swinging and hammering. Elsie comes after him and in an indignant tizzy grabs a knife and just trips and falls right on it.
She says I'll handle this like I always do, because the old men are just kind of sputtering and are just like, just sign the contract, boy, like just do this, come on, like but yeah, she's like, I'll handle this, and then grabs a knife and immediately falls on it and stabs herself in the chest
and just derps herself to death, basically.
Oh man,
yeah so she gets derpy comeuppance for sure. Cameron continues on his rampage, goes after various mask figures. The masks that we saw earlier mounted on the wall, I think these are the masks that they're wearing now, right? The pig face, the odd human face. Like we as it turns out, those were ritual implements too. But Cameron's gone on a rampage. He confronts the head owner of the team.
Well, he
decapitates him,
dispatches some of these people quite handily because, like, his throwing prowess we've seen. He grabs a sword and throws it and, like, impales somebody with it.
Yeah, he's got bullseye throwing capability.
But, the owner eventually, he's running to the goalpost trying to get away in a way while his agent is frantically trying to get service and being like, God damn it, why don't we have service out here? And so, but he gets to, the owner and, frankly, in just a massive spectacle, decapitates him cleanly, and a geyser of blood just erupting from his neck for quite some time.
The band and cheerleaders never stop.
No, not
just
once.
Add to the surreality. The cheerleaders keep cheering. The band keeps playing. They don't acknowledge what's happening at all. They're just doing their thing. Very, very odd.
What did you take from how the agent goes here? Because, like, he gets, like, supernaturally pulled into the pentagram almost.
Yeah, so Cameron, he kills everyone else. The owners, Elsie's dead. Only the manager is still alive. Cameron approaches him. The manager cowers, begs for his life. Cameron rears up to attack him, decides not to, and walks away. But that's not the end of the manager. The manager gets dragged by an unseen force to the pentagram, is writhing, screaming in terror, is very worried about what's happening. And we just see Cameron. It's just our perspective is the camera's on Cameron. He's walking out of this area, kind of swaggering. He's got the hammer over his shoulder. He's covered in blood. And then we hear Tim Heidecker screaming, and then we see like an explosion of blood from behind Cameron, presumably of Tim Heidecker and from that ritual space. I think this is just where, in case you were wondering if there was something demonic going on, this is where it's like, okay, we're just going to let our hair down.
Yeah.
It's just full-on devil power.
And it's a classic cool guys don't look at explosions moment either, because he's literally walking away as this massive blood explosion happens behind him.
Yeah, exactly.
So who's to say what their full intention was of, like, if a blood sacrifice was demanded one way or another somehow?
I get the idea that the devil was displeased that Cameron did not sign.
Right.
And so he's punishing everyone who is tasked with ensuring that this happens.
Because maybe this was meant to be Isaiah or something, the blood sacrifice.
It was just that another goat had to be anointed. Right. But this did not happen, and the devil is displeased. Yeah. So, and that ends our recap. Oh, except that the last scene is jets overhead, streaming red, white, and blue smoke trails from behind. It's a moment straight out of a football game with all the garish, tacky American pompous splendor of it, and roll in credits. And that's our film.
It's an incredibly visually beautiful scene. Like, I almost wonder if they, like, filmed that and worked back or something, or, like, if they just had
it just kind of comes full circle, really. Like, that's how the movie starts, right, with young Cameron watching this on TV. But it's exactly that scene of that game where Isaiah is gruesomely injured, right? But it's just kind of comes full circle, you know. Just the pomp and the bullshit don't stop no matter what.
And notably, there's no day 7 title card. This is supposed to be a full week, but day 7 biblically is when God rested.
God rests.
And now Cameron's resting, essentially.
Exactly.
And so it's
it's the unspoken day 7.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It kind of ends in an odd spot in just the way that, like, some people I heard criticize it were like, it seems like a great Act 1 or 2 or something, but I mean, everybody's dispatched. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. It's like all the antagonists are gone, but it is just like
well, let's get to what I was wanting to talk about before. If I got a complaint about this film, it's just that it seems like it has so many missed opportunities. And I think about other directors who could have done this film, like Tim Burton. I mentioned Tim Burton. Like, could you imagine Tim Burton directing this film? How much more like just the quality of surreality, I think, would be far more present It would just be, it would be a much more robustly structured and implemented in it, right? The qualities of edginess and whimsy would be done expertly, right? And I just feel like this film was trying to go for something like that, and it kept pulling its punches. And I don't know if it's just the director didn't realize that there were these opportunities or what. I don't know, but I feel like they could have just cranked it up all the time. Just all the time.
I get the feeling that like stuff was left on the cutting room floor a good bit because the last few days are very quick as opposed to the first few, which they seem to spend a lot of time on.
Yeah, and that maybe should have been the other way around.
Yeah,
like they didn't have to give equal runtime to every day. You know, like that might have been that might have seemed like a good way of structuring it on paper, and maybe in the script that's how it was structured and it made sense. But like you want to dwell on the moments that are important, and I don't know. Like what really got me was when Cameron is just killing Isaiah in that final climactic combat, and I was really expecting him to show Isaiah just being bludgeoned by this helmet again and again. I was expecting to see his head destroyed. They were always threatening consequential head injury to Cameron, and I just really expected to see that, to see it visual, for that visceral payoff. And the camera only shows Cameron, and it doesn't show what's happening to Isaiah, and it just feels like a cheat. I don't know.
It feels like they could have done more, I suppose. Yeah. But I really do wonder if that's because, like, for runtime's sake, if they eventually chopped off some things and didn't have it, or it could even just be the fact this is the guy's first like studio film ever. He directed one movie in 2016 called Kicks, which was just a kid was he wanted Air Jordans real bad, and then some kid stole it from him and he went to go take it back. But other than that, he's done a lot of TV series, and so this was his first big one. And I wonder what was redone with Jordan Peele because his production company, or what wasn't, and like what the various stages of the film look like to maybe flesh it out more.
Or if it was his first really high budget production, maybe he's playing it safe.
Yeah,
he had a good script to work with, and he had a good producer to work with, but he was just playing it safe, and it just kind of shows. And there are just so many moments when the gothic quality of it, like Cameron wandering the castle, and in these moments, they just could have been more powerful, right? They kind of do it. Right? Like the moments when they're highlighting odd things on the wall or like odd pieces of art and things like that. There's clearly a feeling that this needs to be done, like that this is the tone of the film and this is the way to express that. But it's just, for as much intensity as this film is presuming, I just never felt like it deserved it. Right, like the moments of dramatic intensity, I could understand why they existed, but I just wasn't feeling it a lot of times like I thought I should.
Yeah,
you know, and I feel like I'm kind of a natural audience for exactly this kind of film. It's kind of a psycho thriller, kind of gothic horror take on the football milieu. I'm a natural sell for this. I really am, and I really, I don't know. Like I don't know. I was feeling it and not. I felt like I wanted more, but not in a way that's like always leave them wanting more. Like it didn't feel like a good thing. I felt like something was deficient.
Well, it has a lot of great elements and interesting things. I mean, when we talk about it, it's just it didn't all come together for me either. And I think the people we saw it with just had a lot of big complaints about that too. They just didn't like it as a whole piece. And I mean, even when I was defending it, I'm like, well, it looks beautiful, and I mean, I can't fault the visuals at all necessarily, but I can fault how they tied it all together or something.
I wanted more. I just wanted more all the time. And I mean, I guess that's a good thing, but also just again, if it was like the director playing safe, I don't know. Like I thought Marlon Wayans did a really good job. I thought Tyriq Withers did a really good job. I thought all the casting was good, and the story itself I thought was good. I could just imagine this being done by like Tim Burton or just like can you imagine this like as a David Lynch film? Oh my God, it'd just be insane, right? I could just imagine another director really bringing it, or even like David Fincher, like coming at this from like a slasher horror perspective. I could just imagine it just being so much more intense all the time. Just I don't know.
Yeah, I think it probably is. I mean, this is the dude's like first real big, and especially real big budget thing he's done. Because when I say he did TV, like he directed like an episode here or there. Like,
True.
I mean, we'll talk about it, but yeah, he did like I want to say like. One episode of Dear White People, 2 episodes of The Chi as some like more mainstream work, but he didn't have a ton of stuff under his belt, and so it's just very possible it's that he's cutting his teeth on this, and so it's not like I didn't hate the movie at all. I came out probably of our group liking it more than probably the rest of them, but I was shocked the next day because we saw it about 2 days early. And then the next like 24, 36 hours, reviews came out.
Are bad. They were bad.
They were scathing. And it was, this is never a real good sign for a movie. They had a review embargo until the actual premiere date because they didn't want reviews building hype.
Yeah, that's
because
not good.
They weren't going to. And so
reviews building momentum in this case. Not hype, momentum.
Because I saw a lot of zeros, whether out of 4 or out of 5, like at 100 stuff, and a lot of things are hovering around between 0 and 30%.
Which this is not like the greatest film I've ever seen, but I feel like that's harsh.
Yeah, it seems a little
kind of harsh.
A little low. It's sitting at 39% on Metacritic right now and 31% on Rotten Tomatoes as of today.
Yeah, this is a similar ranking to War of the Worlds 2025. Definitely check out our episodes on that. That's a film that deserved being skewered in the reviews because, oh my God, again, watch it and then listen to our podcast on it because hot damn.
What a steaming pile of dog shit that movie is. Yeah,
shit.
Like I don't feel that way about this film.
But it has a similar rating to Him, and I don't know. I think that's unfair. I don't think Him's the best film I've ever seen, but I liked it enough. I wouldn't have rated it that low.
No, because I mean, like you said, the performances in this are really good. I really like the actors, and I cannot. I can't say that for anybody in the world. That's such a trash movie.
It's boy.
So I don't know. It did feel like some people like had an axe to grind on this, or perhaps just didn't like the football element, or wanted more out of the horror. Because a lot of the negative reviews did say like they kind of thought it was marketed more as a horror, and it didn't really come out as a horror, and that like
admittedly it. And even we touch on this, right? It goes for horror. It also goes for kind of a whimsy, and whether or not it really struck a good balance, I maybe it didn't. And it's just, or maybe it did have a good balance, but it didn't have enough of either. Right? It just I needed more, like all the time. Like I just needed more actual intensity of all the elements that the film had going for it, and I don't know. Again, it was an okay film.
And it's a psychological thriller. I don't know if I'd call it horror ultimately. There's certainly stuff in there. I mean, you've got demons and stabbing and blood and stuff, but like...
it's a psychological thriller. Yeah, with kind of a supernatural element to it.
You had a couple jump scares, like the girl from under the sauna bench, the guy behind him at the beginning on the football field scene, but really that was about it far as like...
It's the weirdness of the scenario that's the psychological horror, right? It's the... It's being... And again, like I mentioned that it's a good Gothic horror narrative, right? And again, Gothic horror. Let's just trace out like a little bit of what that means. Like I'm talking about like Dracula, right? Where you have like a young, naive protagonist who is, for whatever reason, like lured into or compelled to venture into like an old castle or some kind of fortress, right, with a menacing antagonist who's the central figure of this location, right? And the location has all kinds of odd, strange, mysterious qualities about it, like strange inhabitants or surreal, magical qualities about it that are threatening and menacing, right? Like you are entrapped in this fortress, right? You have almost no way of escaping. There's almost no one coming. There's probably no one coming to rescue you. You might not even be able to communicate with anyone on the outside. You are trapped in a strange, cloistered world, and I think that this film, it's very gothic in that regard, right? And I just this appealed to me like immediately, and I think that that's maybe why I liked it more than some others, right? Like I liked the gothic quality, and I don't know if that was everyone's thing, or it just, if you don't pick up on that, it doesn't seem like there's a lot to this film.
And it is there's a lot of gothic horror that is vampire based and such. And I mean, even this one, the guy, Isaiah wants his blood. So it's very easy to draw that comparison directly.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, I do think the Beauty and the Beast one's on the nose, because you've got little helpful figures like the trainer or the clock, or things going on here.
Honestly, I think that's actually even more accurate than, it's kind of like Dracula, Beauty and the Beast. Wow. I think you just nailed it right there in terms of what the mode of this is. Yeah.
I think critics might have been harsher on this too because of Jordan Peele's name being attached, and almost wanting to, whether or not they wanted to drag him down or had high expectations for it.
It raises the expectations a lot. And maybe unfairly to the director.
Especially when you slap it all over the marketing, because I've seen movies like that where they're produced by Quentin Tarantino, or produced by such and such. And
for better and for worse, it raises expectations.
And usually when they're leaning so hard on that, it often is not, they know it's not going to reach those heights or something, at least from the times I've seen that happen. And so it did make me raise an eyebrow to see Jordan Peele's produced by here so much on the marketing. And,
Well, because he's the biggest name attached to it. I mean, honestly, bigger than Marlon Wayans would be the most well-known name otherwise, but Jordan Peele is more powerful name right now for sure.
And I mentioned his production company bought it and elected to do so over weapons. I do think it is in his vein. I think it's a psychological thriller alongside Get Out, Us, and more recently Nope or something, as opposed to Weapons, which actually turned out to be kind of a more monster centric, or a more actual.
It's kind of straight up horror in a way that him is not. It's more psycho thriller versus and
I mean, exactly. I got a lot of Get Out, like I mentioned, with the whole body snatching and the becoming young again, and using the athletic younger body and such. So who knows? I think that really was sort of why he picked that out and whatnot. But
sure.
Despite the mixed reviews, the film opened in second place at the box office with $13.5 million its opening weekend. So I'm not going to cry for this movie. It'll do fine. I'm pretty sure it'll make its budget back and more. So
and honestly, again, I liked it. There are things I will criticize and critique about it, but I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I did too. I mean, I'd recommend you see it, listener here. Especially because, I mean, we describe it or we talk. If you haven't seen it, I don't know why you listen if you haven't seen it, but it's also it's a beautiful film to look at. I really, really do like the dark qualities, the red, the use of red and the color. I think is just a brilliant.
And Tyriq Withers is just beautiful to look at.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to look at him for most of the movie.
I got to bring this episode full circle because oh my god, he's so beautiful. I hope to see him in all kinds of films to come.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, beautiful man. Looks great on camera. Camera loves him. Yeah.
He's actually. Let's just do cast and crew first, and I'll do some comedy, or not comedy trivia. Oh, hey, I'll just stand up comedy for you in a moment.
You're gonna do a tight five, and then we're gonna wrap. Good.
Let's just start with Tyriq. There, he's very new to the scene in general. His first acting credits in 2019, so he's only been on the scene just for 6 years or so. But this beautiful man he's in an episode of Atlanta, just one. He, like I mentioned, he was in the most recent I Know What You Did Last Summer, sort of soft reboot, sort of like homage. I don't even know what you'd call what that was. But he was also in a 2024 reboot of the 1991 film Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, which unfortunately
what? There's a reboot of that film?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's perhaps recommended to watch this because I think it got like a 3.4 out of 10 stars on IMDb or something. So I'm not going to say it's amazing or anything, but he's got some stuff. He seems on an upward trajectory, and he's a very beautiful man to look at, and so I figure he'll keep getting work on
hilariously enough, he's I guess post-production is wrapping on a film that he was in called Reminders of Him. how very ironic.
So the director is named Justin Tipping. As I mentioned, this is his first time doing studio directing. It's only his second credited movie director bit period, because of that other movie Kicks. He did do a few TV shows here and there, and that's about it. He's also very new himself, and I didn't dislike this movie. Again, I think everybody has to cut their teeth. Everybody has to have a first effort at something, and so I bet he does some good stuff.
Oh yeah, I look forward to whatever he does next. I thought as far as like your first big film, I thought he did fine.
Yeah, because the cinematography was good, the shots were good. I
would like to see him just make more bold, maybe even reckless choices next time, right? Because I felt like he held back in this one.
Yeah,
Marlon Wayans has been around the block a few times. He has a long career. One film that I love him in, I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. No, that's a funny one. Definitely check that one out. But he's Requiem for a Dream. He's in Scary Movie.
Requiem for a Dream, I guess, is him in a dramatic role. The Scary Movie things, he not only starred in a bunch of them, he wrote 1 and 2, or he co-wrote, I imagine.
White Chicks.
White Chicks.
Check out Marlon Wayans and White Chicks.
A real deep early one was In Living Color. He was on TV.
In Living Color, what a great show. I don't even know where that streams. If you can find anywhere where that streams, check it out. What a great show.
Isn't he on your boyfriend's favorite sketch and phrase hated it?
No, that's another Wayans. That's another Wayans.
And I think it's because he co-wrote with his cousin, another one of the Wayans brothers, these Scary Movies and stuff. But Marlon Wayans is a force in parody movies in general, as he also stars / produced a Haunted House 1 and 2, which actually my boyfriend turned on the other day. The first one, he produced 50 Shades of Black, a parody of 50 Shades of Grey, a bunch of stuff.
It was
like that.
Damon Wayans playing Blaine Edwards. Counterpart to David Allen Greer's Antoine Merriweather.
Ah, there you go, yeah.
Men on Film. We're going to watch the film Him. I love this film, especially Tyriq Withers. He's a gorgeous, dreamy man. We should maybe watch Her after this, just so we can say hated it. Yeah. But anyway,
I assume this was just the follow-up to Megan Thee Stallion's song "Her." Her. She. He's great, and he's done tons of funny movies and a few dramatic acting roles, as noted. Requiem for a Dream being probably the most notable, fantastic but disturbing film. I mean, I want to have you go into that sight unseen of a, But Julia Fox, who played Elsie, is also very new on the scene. Her first acting credits in 2018. Her most known credit comes shortly after that in 2019, where she co-stars in Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler, playing his dramatic role in that well-lauded movie.
That's an awesome film.
Otherwise, she's known for a couple movies like Presence and No Sudden Move, but for the gays and the pop girly lovers, she actually shows up in the music video for Charlie XCX's recent song 360. Yeah. So there you go.
There you go.
And I just have a couple more I'll mention because Tim Heidecker plays Tom, the agent.
Yes.
I don't know if they even call him Tom once in the movie, but he's most known for his absurdist comedy stylings and his marriage, essentially, of that to Adult Swim, where they put out he is the titular Tim in the long-running Tim and Eric's awesome show, Great Job, and Tim and Eric's Bedtime Stories, which were both aired on Adult Swim.
Yeah, if you want just like a mega dose of extremely off-putting surreality, check out Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job. Whether or not I like that show, I don't know. I definitely appreciate that show, but every episode makes me very uncomfortable.
I agree.
Which I take as a sign of quality, but damn, I'm uncomfortable every time. I finish an episode.
Perhaps we need the right drugs or something, on that with Adult Swim and stuff, because that was it's such a weird show.
It really is.
There's certainly very funny things, but I mean, memes still live on from that show, like it's free real estate, or the John C. Reilly crazy character, the professor guy with his brain exploding. Ooh, but funny man, a weird vibe he goes for, but it's interesting to see him, and another sort of, I guess, dramatic role. I mean, he's kind of comedic here too.
Steve Brule.
Yeah, that's Brule. The name of the guy there. And the last one I'll call out is Jim Jeffries as Marco the trainer. That was honestly very surprising to see him here for me, because even more so than Tim, because all he has in his like credits of like what he does is he's got 10 straight up stand-up specials, and then he's got a TV show called Legit, which aired on FX, and then the Jim Jeffries Show, which was a news satire on Comedy Central. But really, this is it. Like, this is his one like dramatic or like in any sort of big or studio or movie or whatnot where he's not just like a clown essentially. And he's a very funny guy himself. But it was just a genuine surprise to see him pop up on this, and I was like, good for him. Way to go.
Dipping his toe into dramatic acting. Sure.
Yeah. Okay, let's knock out some trivia, and then I suppose get to gayest, straightest moments. You can think about those if you don't have one in your head here. So, this was very funny, because we actually saw the poster for this on the way out. The original title for this movie was Goat, which was going to be doing a lot of lifting with, again, the dual meaning of greatest of all time, the sports thing, but also the goat and the sacrificial and all that. However, they changed it pretty last minute because they found out that in February 2026, there is a movie coming out by Sony Pictures Animation in partnership with Steph Curry, where they're developing an animated sports comedy where a goat plays basketball called Goat. And Jordan Peele was like, actually, this will probably be too confusing to have two movies named Goat come out within like 8 months and have them, be able to be Googled and stuff. And we saw the poster for that on the way out as I was like telling people this. I was like, oh, it used to be called Goat. And I was like, I wonder if that's why it is. And yeah, that's why. So they changed that because of a basketball playing goat movie. They ruined the title for this one.
That's showbiz for you.
Great minds, I suppose, or whatever, middling minds. Think. This script actually was featured on the most liked unproduced screenplays of 2022, written by Zach Akers and Skip Bronke. So I guess it's been kicking around for a while before actually making it out here. But as I mentioned, this movie was filmed in and around Albuquerque, New Mexico, with some scenes shot at Spaceport America. But New Mexico being New Mexico, at one point production had to fully shut down because the sky turned brown and tumbleweeds started flying through the air. And as I'm reading this, I'm like, oh my God, that reminds me of home. Or like... sometimes, if you were lucky enough out in West Texas in that area, in the desert, there would be these dust storms and rain, thunder, and whatnot, and it would literally rain mud on you. Sometimes the sky was just brown, but occasionally just horrific things would happen. And do you know the word, Tommy, for an intense dust storm, like a big old clouds of dust generated by strong winds from weather fronts and downdrafts of thunderstorms?
No. What is this?
It is a haboob, just in case you wanted to know things from my life and heritage.
A haboob?
Yeah.
What? What is the origin of this word?
I don't know. It sounds like Arabic-ish to me, but just like, haboob. But as when we found out as high schoolers, we just use that all the time. On the boob moment, we'll be here. The jugs machine was the very fast, football shooting machine. That's a common piece of equipment. Let's see. I mentioned Marlon Wayans' character has 8 championships, one more than Tom Brady, just to give him a godlike appearance. I watched some interviews and sort of like reels and clips on some of this stuff too. Marlon Wayans was razzing Tyriq Withers and being like, he wasn't even in a real ice bath. They apparently used plastic bits that look like ice to be in there so that he wasn't like, teeth chattering or turning blue and suffering and all that. And they also talked about how that last scene where it's so bright and it kind of looks like warm or hot out or whatever, it was like 40 degrees because the desert, while also, being hot at times, is a beast of, extremes.
Equally super cold.
And so, depending on the time of day or time of year, the desert's going to be cold. And apparently it was quite cold out there. So I'd have have to go back and watch and see if his nipples are just like pointing like diamonds or something. I suppose in the scene.
Don't tempt me, Kyle. I can imagine it now. Oh boy, I think that gets us to our gayest and straightest moment. Unless we have more trivia.
There's just a couple left. One of them I did think was interesting was Tipping, the director of this film, reveals that he was inspired by the intense pressure and societal commentary surrounding professional sports and the idea of athletes as commodities. And building on that, another thing he said was he incorporated imagery from Super Bowls and like the ritualistic nature of sports to create a unique tone. We're blending the pomp of the sport with the sense of impending doom and aim to create psychological horror by forcing the audience to experience the toll of striving for greatness and the potential loss of self in that. Where again, if people are lifting you up so much and just like, you're this, we're cheering for you, you're this, and you're like, you belong to us, we, all this stuff. And you can imagine it is a loss of self. And so that was definitely something explored was that. But that's it. Yeah. So go for it.
Well, let's start with the straightest moment. What's the straightest?
I think the straightest moment was the girlfriend just interjecting and being like, no, he's mine, and digging her claws in and being like, he has a girl and stuff. Because again, like Brittany Mahomes or like some other like famous sports wives, they dig on in there and they're like, you're never leaving me. Like, just in a way I don't often see gays do, or to be as clingy or something on that. But
Sure. I think maybe for me it was the opening scene where it's young Cameron watching that game with the gruesome injury and whatnot, and it's his interaction with his father.
Definitely,
right. It's both. It's celebratory and it's a high pressure social moment too. Right. It's all about the heavy-handed application of expectations and norms and culture, the culture, right? But all this surrounding masculinity,
And it's almost like a non-consensual thing, because I know a lot of little gay boys have had this happen where the father may slam the football into their hands, or like he does that, just put the shoulder pads on him, or be like, "Who are you? You're a straight sports guy. You're him. Yeah,
you're a straight sports baller.
Exactly. So I absolutely identify with that one as well as a very straight thing to have happened.
All right, the gayest moment for me is basically every moment that Tyriq Withers is on the screen.
Oh man, yeah.
Jeez, and I don't know. I'll be more analytically rigorous. Okay, what's the gayest moment in the film? Not just me having gay moments in my seat in the theater.
Gosh, I don't know. Yeah, two dudes hanging out in the sauna aren't necessarily like that. But I mean, a lot of sports is pretty gay.
Is it the exchange of fluids? The transmission of from an older to a younger man.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly
the power in fluids.
A community thing. I've invited you over to my house as an older figure.
I've lured you to my lair.
Your Uber has dropped you off for this grinder hookup.
Now I will ply you with riches before inseminating you. Yes, exactly.
Gonna tan your hide. As for I guess an outside moment, I did not mind seeing Tyriq Withers' ass on screen. That was lovely.
In case you're just now tuning in, what a beautiful man. The camera just loves his face and his body. Oh my God. A beautiful, beautiful man for sure.
Yeah, I certainly was going to figure your gayest moment was just lusting after him, frankly, entirely.
It's just going to be me doing awkward sighs into the microphone and saying "Lordy, Lordy" over and over again. Yeah,
he's going to have to clean the drool off it afterwards, guys.
Yeah. I'm going to have to sponge that off. Yeah, like oh man. Yeah. So all right. So him not. I don't think it deserves the reviews that it's getting or the ratings that it's getting. I really don't. Like I read a review by Gene Siskel, famous movie reviewer. Can't get much more famous movie reviewer than that. He panned the film pretty hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it more, and I think it had more going for it. I think it had a lot of missed opportunities. Don't get me wrong, but I liked it.
I'd put it at 5 out of 10 at least. Or I mean, like, because I don't know it surpasses or goes up to like 7 or higher, or like reaches great heights. But it's totally watchable. This is a watchable film versus like what you mentioned, War of the Worlds or certain things, which is just like the only reason I wanted to watch that film was to fucking just rip on it in a sense because it was awful. This is not that. This is not an awful film. Yeah. I think you'd be well served to watch it once. And I think some of the group we went were just like, I wouldn't watch it a second time. And that's fine. A lot of movies you're not going to go back and watch, especially in the age of a fire hose of content shooting down your throat at every moment.
Yeah.
But so it may not end up being like a cult classic or something you revisit constantly. But I think it's worth one watch, if nothing else.
I think there's something to it. I think there's something compelling with it, right? It has a lot of good elements. The casting is good. I think the story is good. I mean, I think it's a good film. It's a good film. I don't know if I'd give it a 7, but I wouldn't give it a 4.
Yeah.
It's a good film. It's a good film.
And as I mentioned, it has Jordan Peele's touch on it. I think a lot of people expected too much out of it, hearing his name on it. But his production company and stuff added something, I think.
That's a double-edged sword, putting a heavy name like that on a film. Yeah, it can go both ways.
So, as we mentioned, our next film upcoming, this one kind of got jammed in the middle of the slate because we did get a little sneak preview of it and decided to do it. We thought it was good enough to talk about. But the next one upcoming we're going to have a guest for is The Substance that we'll be doing.
We are reviewing The Substance, I promise.
Yeah.
And just because, damn, I love that film so much, I've wanted to do a show about it ever since I saw it. And just funny thing, there's been a fly in this room this entire time, and I don't know if this comes across in the recording, but we've been swatting at this damn fly this entire time, and I just saw Kyle make a face.
It was on my microphone, and I tried to brush it off, and then it flew straight to land on my nose, and then landed back on my forehead. I've been silently suffering for you, listener, because I didn't want to be like, oh my God.
This damn fly has been up in our business.
Or slamming the table trying to get it.
God. Yeah. What we power through for you, dear audience, for you. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we're excited about
we made sacrifices.
Sure. We sacrificed.
Yes.
If it were a mosquito, it would have been a blood sacrifice.
It
just
would
a
have.
fly. So
yes.
Perhaps thematically. No, we'd love. I know The Substance is a very interesting and discussable film. So as always, we'll have our email address here at the bottom of any show notes or whatnot, or in our actual show page. So write in if you have a question about it or you want something discussed that you think we would like to talk about. So. Absolutely.
Or if you just think that we're just terrible at this, let us know. Let us know and spare no detail about how bad we are at this, please.
Yes. We take hate too. Feedback's nice.
Yes. Yes. Masochism me with your hate mail, please. All right. Well, that's been our review of him. My name is Tommy.
I'm Kyle.
And this has been Video Head Cleaner. Check us out next time.
We shall see you soon.
Till then.